Blue Origin gives us a look at what their new pad is going to look like. A Japanese spacecraft flies by an asteroid. A Chinese rocket sticks the landing. And James Webb is at it again. All of that and much more when you join us for Orbit Weekly. Alright, so we are going to start off with two events from previous weeks that affect events this week. So, we're going to start with SpaceX first. So, SpaceX went public in the middle of June, and meaning that it is now a publicly traded company. Currently, its stock value is $153 per share. Now, I will say this. I am in no position to give you financial advice. So do not take my financial advice. I am purely focused on what is going on in the news, not giving financial advice. So, this share price is helping fund future projects, not only like Starbase, but their 2 gigabays. One in Texas, currently being built, the other in Florida, which is nearing completion at this point. This would also fund technology developments as well as future flight hardware. Now, at the same time, Blue Origin decided that it wanted to steal the spotlight a little bit by making its own light, as can be seen here. So this pretty much made a crater of Slick 36, which is Blue Origin's launch pad. But Blue has said that they want to launch by the end of the year. Is this likely? Could be. Will it be ready to resume normal operations? Probably not. But on the other hand, we get to see an AI render right here of their new launch complex that they are planning. So how does this affect Artemis timelines? Because here's what we do know. When Artemis was announced, Blue Origin was going to get a lander, and SpaceX was going to get the HLS, so the Human Landing System. We have not seen... Well, we have seen Blue's first lander. It's called Blue Moon. It's currently going through testing. It is not going to be used for Artemis. It's going to be used as their own mission to get the contract to make more of them, which has to land on the moon and has to prove itself. It's the same thing for Starship as well, except Starship, we haven't really seen anything from yet in terms of any HLS hardware or really anything. With this sudden explosion, what we do know is that Blue Origin is getting a little bit of a break here, and it is going to be launching, I believe it's Mark 1.5 or something like that. It's not as big as Mark 2, but it is human kind of rated. They'll be able to dock to it and be able to go in it and do experiments and stuff like that. The HLS system that SpaceX is doing for Artemis 3, you can't go in it. You can only dock to it. So it kind of begs the question: are they just going to stick a docking port right on a Starship when they launch it? Because the interesting thing is, at least for this, is that Starship has not gone orbital yet. It is on with Flight 13 coming up relatively within, I'm going to say probably the end of July, I don't think it will. I don't think it, I think that will slip, and I think it'll be in mid-August. Artemis 3 is currently scheduled for late 2027. At this rate, Starship will have to launch at least 4 times more to get not only catches of the Starship and the booster. Actually, it doesn't even need to catch the booster. They turn those out pretty quickly. But they're going to need to show that they can bring a Starship back down for its reusability. That's kind of important. They at least need to show that. They haven't done it yet. It's only been suborbital. They've been dumping starships in between India and Australia. Have we seen flight maneuvers to see it like wiggle and belly flop? Yeah, we have. Have we seen it near a launch tower on the way back? No. So this kind of puts them in a bit of a pickle. This week, JAXA, the Japanese space agency, got a look at something pretty cool. So, Hayabusa 2, which was launched in December of 2020, kind of mirrors NASA's OSIRIS-REx mission. So, pretty much what it was doing was it was flying to an asteroid, going down to the surface, getting a sample, bringing it back. Yeah, bringing it back, throwing it back to us, and then leaving and then going to find something else. This week, it captured this image. This is Torifune, or Torifune. I'm not sure how to say it. I'm sure someone in the comments will tell me how to say it. But we're going to say Torifune, which is a 1,475-foot asteroid traveling at 62 million miles from Earth. It is the closest flyby. It is one of the closest flybys ever. So it captured this image from the asteroid using its cameras and transmitted it back. According to JAXA, it also took observations and science data as well. Currently has not sent that back yet. As of this recording, it has not sent it back yet. But it will be sent back and gone through, and I'm sure we will be reporting on it eventually. So this asteroid is a part of the Apollo group. It orbits the sun every 383 days, so a little bit longer than our Earth year. And it makes a full rotation insanely fast. So it is flipping around all the time. All the time. All the time. It makes a full rotation every 5 hours. So let's think of that. An Earth day is 24 hours. It swings almost all the way around. Almost 5 times in a day. That is insanely fast. Insanely fast. But the interesting thing that I think with this is we're going to asteroids now. Asteroids were there long before we were, long before the dinosaurs were, long before Earth was. Asteroids hold, what's the word for this? Keys. Asteroid holds keys to how planets formed, how different elements got to where they are, why they why certain things are more prominent on other planets, even though they are the same size and roughly the same distance from their host star. Asteroids have been proving that they are the key to figuring out where we came from. And that is crazy to think about. And now, something even a little more crazy to think about. Alright, so we are coming back to a very interesting image here. I know we have been talking a lot about James Webb, but this is something that definitely we need to talk about. So, James Webb is technically celebrating 4 years of being in the surface at this point. So, if you remember, we talked about a long time ago that James Webb was launched in December of 2021. Nope, 22. It was launched Christmas Day, I believe in 2022. That would make it 4 years. Yes, 2022 sounds about right. And keep in mind, even though it launched, it takes about, I want to say, I think it was like 25 days to get it completely set. And then it started commissioning, which means it was getting itself ready to do science. That was another 6 months. Now we're in July 2023. Nope. No, it would have had to launch in 2021. It launched in 2021. And then was commissioned in 2022. There we go. That timeline makes sense. Okay. So, anyways, this week, for its quote-unquote birthday, it looked at Centaurus A, which is a galaxy 11 million light years away from Earth, which 11 million light years sounds like an insane amount of distance. In cosmic terms, they're the neighbor right next door, pretty much. So, in this image, this is Centaurus A. This is NASA on the NASA website, and this is a interactive image with everything that it found. At its core is a black hole feeding surrounding material, feeding on surrounding material. However, the black hole emits energy and creates the galaxy's shape. Okay, so we're going to go through this first. Just nice and easy. So we're going to do the guided tour real quick. Okay, so turn your eye on the tilted 4 shape. So right here, right on this plus right here. In Webb's mid-infrared view, the center of the Centaurus forms is warped, almost geometric shape. It is not a solid box, but dust arranged in a thick tilted disk shaped by the galaxy's past interaction. Because Webb can peer through warm dust that could otherwise obscure the view, astronomers can see the strange structure more clearly. Okay? So this is what it looks like. This is Webb revealed, so Spitzer was from a long time ago, but Webb revealed that Centaurus A is not made of a simple population of stars. Older stars, younger stars, and stars formed after past interactions will appear together, giving astronomers clues to the galaxy's history. Like archaeology, studying these stars helps reconstruct the difference when different events happened and how they changed over time. Okay, so this is what Spitzer sees, or saw. This is what Webb sees, so it's very different. In some regions, Webb revealed bubble-like pockets where stars' energetic activity and shock waves from exploding supernovae may have cleared away surrounding material and dust, continuing the cycle of star formation. So we found these extra spots here. But here's the core. Here's that plus that we were talking about. Is bright, active region powered by a supermassive black hole. Material falling towards the black hole releases energy, which affect the nearby gas and dust. Okay, in this tour, the extremely bright core is evidence of activity. Fast outflows launched by this black hole have been studied in detail by Webb using spectroscopy. Okay, pretty interesting, right? So we got here. So, here's the twist. Here's the galaxy twist. Okay, a strange S-shaped ribbon winds through the dust central region. So this is the middle. Here's the swirl here. And standing out clearly for the first time in Webb's view. Astronomers are still trying to figure out what it is exactly created the structure, may be connected to gas flows from the galaxy's past. Okay. So we've done that one. Let's see what's here. So this is what Hubble sees. This is what Webb sees. The bright bar of stars in the mirror infrared image is blocked by a thick band of visible dust, invisible light, including the views from Hubble. Webb's infrared instruments can see through much of that, revealing star structures and activity hidden inside the interior. By cutting through the dust, Webb gives astronomers a clearer view of the galaxy's disrupted and active interior. Here's the comparison. Okay, so this is what Hubble can see. This is what Webb can see. Okay. We'll go back. Let's go on the outside a little bit. At the top right of the galaxy, faint wisps and stretched out material appear in Webb's infrared view. These ethereal-looking structures may be debris pulled outward during the collision that reshaped Centaurus A, offering faint clues that the galaxy is still settling after a violent interaction. Go back to the center a little bit. So here's Webb's fingerprint. Okay, so Webb is 18 mirrors, and it all combines to do one mirror. So you can kind of see it here. There's kind of like the pattern here, but it kind of makes like this four edge kind of star kind of thing. Some of the brightest points in the light are surrounded by sharp rays of light called diffraction spikes. In this image, diffraction spikes appear both around stars within our galaxy and around Centaurus A's core. These 8 spikes are the signature of Webb's telescope design, created as light travels through the telescope's complicated optics. Webb's diffraction spikes reveal how bright and compact the region around the supermassive black hole really is. The active core is concentrated into such a small area that Webb records it almost like a pure source of light. So if Webb was looking at a star, this is what it would look like. This is what a compact black hole looks like. So it's very different and it's a lot brighter. Okay, I believe we have 2 more here. So here's 2 different images. So we got mid-infrared imaging, that's MIRI, and near cam is near infrared camera. What may look like the soft haze of a grainy texture across Centaurus A is actually millions of individual stars packed throughout the galaxy. Webb's powerful infrared vision and high resolution allow astronomers to separate many of these stars that once blended together in previous observations. By resolving the stellar haze, it gives astronomers clues on different generations. Okay, I believe we have 1 more. Alright, scattered around Centaurus A are globular clusters. These groupings of hundreds of thousands of ancient stars bound together by gravity. These clusters are among the oldest parts of the galaxy. like surviving fossils, they help astronomers trace when different parts of Centaurus A formed. Above is a resolved view of the globular cluster Terzan 5. So Terzan 5 looks like this. And it is very busy. Here, there's our spikes again. It is very busy right around the center here. But this was Webb's present on its birthday. So I hope you enjoyed that and going through it. It's time to talk about this week in launches. It's time for the space traffic report. So, we had quite a few out of China this week. We had a couple out of China, we had a couple out of Florida, one or two out of Vandenberg. So, let's start with China. On the 4th of July, happy birthday, America, we started the day with a Chinese launch. So, this was Space Sail 13, which was launched on a Long March 6A from Launch Complex 9A in China. This was 18 communication satellites for Shanghai. I'll believe it when I see it. Our next one was on the 5th. This was a Starlink mission. It was Starlink Group 1050. This was on a Falcon 9, of course, at not at Falcon 9 on booster 1090, and this was Flight 13, and it landed on a shortfall of gravitas. It took off from Slick 40, and it was carrying 29 Starlink satellites and 2 Bexar manufacturing pods. What were they making? We don't know. Anyways, followed up by Space Sail 13 was Space Sail 14 at 9:53 a.m. on the 5th. This was a Long March 8A from Launch Complex 1. And this was another 20 satellites for Shanghai. So, then we had a Falcon transporter mission. This was Transporter 14. Pretty much what this is SpaceX's rideshare program. So it will load up a handful of satellites, put them on a big stick, and launch the whole thing. This was on the 7th at 3:12 a.m. Eastern Time. This was on Falcon 9 booster 1097 for its 11th flight, and it landed successfully on, of course, I Still Love You. This was Slick 4E, and of course it was a rideshare. Our next one is Starlink 1042. This one launched on the 9th at 5:25 a.m. Eastern Time. This one was special. This one was pretty special. So this one was booster 1067. Now, if you know all of the boosters, congratulations. If you don't, I'm going to tell you a record, because booster 1067 flew and landed for the 36th time. And it landed on a shortfall of gravitas. Launching from Slick 40, it was just another Starlink mission. And the very last launch that we had as of recording this week was Demo Flight from China. This was also kind of a historic first as well, because China, on a technicality, caught the booster. So it did do a landing. It did do a landing burn. The ship was out in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. It comes down, and it's in this big cage kind of thing, and it's got these 4 wires, and they go, and they catch it. It's kind of interesting. You should definitely take a look. But that was our space traffic report. So, one more thing. So, next week. We don't know what's going to happen next week. We really don't. Starship could just launch out of the blue. Who really knows? Or maybe it just blows up somewhere. Who knows? Let's see, what else? What else do we talk about? James Webb could find aliens. Maybe it did. Maybe JAXA sent home an alien. Who knows? Yeah, but if I hear about it, we'll probably talk about it next week on Orbit Weekly.